Hi, happy evening. Happy evening, Abia, and happy evening, Safa. That's great. That's an amazing energy that we could have even before the live starts. So I welcome you all to the day 5 of this boot camp, which is about graphic design to UI UX, which is organized by Rotary Club of Madras Metro and presented and supported by Tech-iera Innovations Private Limited here. So it's indeed uh, a kind of splendid feeling for me to see young women, having the same kind of interest and energy even till the last day of the boot camp, and it's even more surprising to see, to witness so many of you have submitted the assignments which were given by using the tool Illustrator. So it's an amazing feeling, girls, and a big kudos to all of you. You can appreciate you yourself by just posting in a clap, smiley, or something here in the chat box so that we can bang in with an awesome energy. Superb. So, as our participants keep coming, so we will start off with the syllabus that we have to see in this last day of the boot camp. Okay. So, yesterday we were looking at Photoshop and some of its tools. Okay. So, today, in continuation with that, we are going to see and explore few more techniques that we can have. Right, to start off, so here yesterday we saw about the move tool, and we saw the different types of selection tool depending on the objects. Okay, and then we also went through object selection tool, and also in that object selection tool itself we do have a quick selection tool as well, which we also explored, and we cut off this particular image, this particular subject from a different image, and we have placed it um, before the other image, and also we are trying to match it exactly with this background with by adjusting some of its filters, or the saturation colors or hue, or any other setting that we could probably do to make it match with the image over here exactly. Okay, so, in this process, we will also today explore a different set of techniques that we already saw in Illustrator, but we will today see them how to do them in here in Photoshop. Okay, so having said this, now what I'll do is I'll just go to file and I'll give new. Okay, as soon as I give new, a new set of presets. Okay, this like how we saw different presets when we started creating a new project here in Photoshop. The same way we are able to see it here in this set of options when we give new. Okay, so here again I'm going to choose in some other artboard size, but this time I'm going to make it look wider. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this 1920 cross 1080 pixels. Okay, which means that the artboard is going to be in landscape size. Okay, so previous thing was in portrait, right? So if we have our hold our mobile phone straight and look at it, this image will fit our entire screen. So the same image, now what we are going to do is we are going to make it in a landscape orientation, wherein we tilt the phone in the landscape mode, and then we get to see it in the landscape orientation. Okay, so for that the width has to be 1920 and then the height will be 1080. Okay, so and then after creating this, let me hit create. Right, so now I have gotten a different artboard size, and the size itself looks massive. So today we are going to learn a couple of interesting techniques that we can handle. All right, so here again, in Illustrator, the first set of tools that we explored were about the shapes. Okay, we drew so many shapes together, and using their notes, we saw how we can alter them and do all that. So here again, we have uh, the shapes present here in the toolbar. Okay, so here the one that looks like a dotted rectangle. Doesn't denote you about the shapes, it just denotes you about the mark tool. Okay, wherein you mark something and then you bring in some other operation for that mark. Okay, but here towards the end, that is last but three. Okay, so this position is the is where the shapes are located. Okay, so again here you will be able to see different set of shapes. All right, so now I'll go with rectangle tool. So as soon as I select rectangle tool, if I drag in like this, a rectangle will be formed. Okay, so again here I will be able to create different nodes. Sorry, I will be able to scale in the round the corners that are there in the shape. Okay, so like that I can handle this same thing in a different aspect. Okay, so once we have created the shape, all right, so yeah, so now we have created the shape. We will now see how we can mask here in Photoshop. Okay, so 3 days I've been continuously addressing Illustrator, so that is the thing that obviously comes up in my mind when I am talking here, so pardon for that. Okay, so here in Photoshop, every time you create an object, okay, every time you bring in a new image, so you have to keep a track on the layers that are present here. Okay, because um, as there is an illustrator, okay, it will have an easy access to all the set of shapes or tools that we can handle. But here, every layer you create newly, it will carry a different property or a different kind of setting for it. So you have to keep a track on which layer you have selected. Okay, because some layers we tend to mask, or some layers we tend to create some of the setting for the same. All right, so to have a track on it, it is better that you keep selecting the layer from here in the layers, and then you get to make the changes over here in this thing. Okay, so one thing have you observed? Now I am scaling down and scaling out the same shape. Okay, but the kind of result that it provides is very even. Okay, so here I have not um, kept a hold on to my shift key. Okay, I'm not holding the shift key, which is necessary in Illustrator to be held if you are looking to scale an object in an equal manner. Okay, so here in Photoshop it is just that if you get to scale out and scale in even without holding shift button, you will be able to scale it in an equal manner. Okay, so once you set up the shape, okay, so here you can adjust the color of the shape just by okay, just by clicking here, or you can also bring in different tones of color. Okay, and then okay, so just double clicking over here, and then I'm just moving the slider like this. Okay, so and then I can just set in whichever color I require. Okay, so now I will just select some mild color and I am giving okay. Okay, so that the color is set. And here, if we closely observe, we do have a stroke color. Okay, so but if we want a stroke color, we can leave it as such, but if we don't want it, we can remove it. Okay, so here again we are going to make the stroke color. Okay, so from here, I will operate it, and I can just bring in which color I want to be for my stroke, or if I don't want any type of color. Okay, so from here itself I can choose which is the type of color that I'm going to have for my stroke, whether it is going to be some solid color or gradient or no color. So whatever I choose here, I swap here. So depending on that, it will react here in this. Okay, so for all these things, you have to click on the layer, and then over here in this appearance. Okay, so if you expand this appearance, you will be able to see all the settings that you can have here. Right, and one more thing is, if you closely observe, there are few more settings here which are given. Okay, so these settings are just for you to, you know, if you are making it a rounded corner, how your rounded corner should be, or all those kind of stroke settings and all you will have here. All right, so depending on that, it will, your object will be reacting. Okay, so if you don't want your object to react based on the your rounded corners not to react based on the equal appearance. Okay, so here you can just remove off this clipping, and then you can just manually adjust with the numbers here. Okay, so these icons over here indicates you that which corner you are dealing with. Okay, so the one that is on top left here, so it indicates that it's got top left corner radius, like that. Whichever shape or whichever side you are dealing with, so you can take the image from here. Okay, and also additionally, you do have, as you had there in Illustrator, the same way here also you will have few other settings for the stroke. Okay, if you want the stroke to be in a straight line or dotted line, or it has to be even more in a dotted appearance than this. Okay, this is dash, this is dotted, so this is straight. So if you what whichever type of appearance you want it to be, you can bring it that. All right, so and then now here we saw one thing there in Illustrator. We explored some tools in Pathfinder, right? I hope we went through only one tool there. So here also you do have those same set of Pathfinder. So now what I'll do is I'll draw in another triangle over here. Okay, so I'm just keeping it over here. All right, so this time let me select both the objects together. Okay, I have selected my rectangle as well as the triangle. So just for us to know the difference between these two, what I'm doing is I'm just selecting the triangle now, and then let me bring it with different color. So I'll just place in this blue as of now. Okay. And now what I'm doing is I'm selecting both the objects together. And as I scroll down to my properties, here I'm able to see the pathfinder. Okay. So from here, if I want both these objects to behave together, so I will be giving this union. Okay. The first one is union. The second one is the it means that we are going to subtract this particular shape from the shape that we have selected outwards. Okay, so here if I give this, can you see that? So the shapes color is filled all over, and then the subtract is done from the existing shape. Okay, I have undone it, and now here I am going to give intersection. Okay, if I give intersection, so whichever space is intersecting, so that alone will stay. So here which is the thing that is intersecting? So it's we have not mentioned it that it is the thing, or both intersect at one single point. Okay, and then next to it we have this particular option where we will exclude the overlapping shape. Okay, so here what we have done is what that tool has done is it has excluded the shape which is overlapping. Okay, yeah, so this is how the pathfinder tools can be handled when you are dealing here in Photoshop. So like that you can handle different tools together, and you can just play around with the tools. But only thing that you have to keep in mind is that whenever you are trying to move an object, okay, so it's not just enough that you select the layer. Okay, now here I am in this triangle tool. Okay, just that I have selected the triangle layer here, it doesn't mean that now if I move this object will move. It will not move like that. Okay, as it as as the layer response in Illustrator. So over there what happens is when we try to draw a shape, and then when we try to select that particular layer in the layers panel, so automatically the shape tool will be converted to the move tool. Okay, but here in Photoshop it is not like that. You have to select the layer, and then whichever operation you want to do to that particular object, you have to change it over here in the toolbar. Okay, now I want this object to move. Okay, so I am going to the move tool. So in that aspect I can now move this triangle which was there inside. Okay, so and then again for those shapes also you can deal in between different types of uh, different types of filters where you can bring in the darken effect or something like that. Okay, so and also you can also increase and decrease its opacity as you were able to do there in Illustrator. Okay, so there we will do this setting by operating the transparency icon. Okay, we will just go to the transparency setting, and over there we will reduce its opacity to make it look transparent. But here it's here in this opacity itself, which is showing as a setting in the layers panel. Okay, so these are some of the important tools that you have to keep in mind when you are working with Photoshop. Okay, so now we are going to okay, now what I'll do is I'll just delete this shape. Okay, yeah, I have deleted the shape now. I just have this one rounded rectangle here. Okay, now we are going to mask an image into the drawn shape. Okay, so to mask an image, what is the technique that can be used. So similarly, as I told you that there are two different options for you to import an object or import an image into Photoshop. Okay, one is go to file, give open, and then from the existing images you can click on the image that you want to mask and then give open. Okay, so that the image will be opened in a different project file. So then what you have to do is by selecting the select move tool, okay, you have to drag this image and take it to the other tab where you want to drop it, and then just leave the mouse button over there. Okay, then the image will be placed there, right? So to indicate that this layer will be helpful. So underneath this image, we are having the rectangle, and on top of it, we are having the photo that we have placed. So now what we are going to do is, if here in case if you want to merge something or if you want to mask something, so what you have to do is firstly create a group. Okay, so you are going to group the shape and then the image that you want to place the place inside the shape. Okay, so here I am going to this icon which represents like a folder. Okay, I am just clicking on it and a group one is created. So here I am just going to rename this layer, this group. Okay, so I'm just going to give it as mask photo or something. Okay, and now I am going to select both these layers and drag it and drop it inside the mask photo layer group that I created. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this layer 1, which is the photo. Okay, after selecting this, let me right click, and then from the existing settings that are shown up here. Okay, so here you will have an option called as creating clipping mask. Okay, so once you give that creating clipping mask, the photo will be clipped on to the object that is underneath it. Okay, I will do it again for you. So here we are creating a new group by clicking on the folder icon which is here. Okay, so once we have clicked on that, there will be one new layer which merely acts like a folder. Okay, then what we are doing is we are dragging and dropping the shape and the image that we want to mask, and we are going to drop it inside the new group that we created. Okay, so after we dropped it, then what happens is our shape will be underneath the image. So once it acts like this, then what you have to do is you have to select the image that you want to mask inside the photo. So once you select that layer, okay, then right click. Once you right click, there will be few options shown. Okay, so from that you have to click this particular option which says create clipping mask. Okay, so please notice this carefully. I am not selecting both the layers. I haven't selected this rectangle one. Okay, the shape is just remaining there. Now I am just going to deal with this layer one alone. Okay, before I do that, I will just scale this image that it could fit the size of the rectangle. Okay, and here I have placed it. Now what I'll do is by selecting the layer, right click, okay, and create clipping mask. So yes, our image is clipped into the shape that we had. Okay, so this is how you create a clipping mask in Photoshop. Okay, in case if you want if you want to move this entire group, you have to select the new group layer that you created. Okay, so once you click on it, okay, then select the move tool. Yeah, okay, okay, so here once you have clicked on it, now you can scale in and scale out the existing shape, and you can transform it and place it wherever you want to. Okay, but make sure that you are selecting this group and not the layer. Okay, because when you tend to select the group here, okay, initially as you were able to see, automatically if you select it here in the new group, it will go to the layer 1, okay, which is the image. Okay, so to avoid this, you have to click on this mask photo, and then you have to go to the move tool, and then you have to change it, scale it, or make it bigger or whatever it is, right? So this is how you will you will mask a shape, an image into a shape. Okay, so once you are done with it, you can give this tick icon. So if you give it, it means that you have fixed it over there. All right, so this is how you will mask an image. Okay, now what we will do is, now that we have got to know how we can mask an image in a shape here in Photoshop, now we are going to mask an image into a text. Okay, so to show an example, I'll just text with image texture. Yeah. So all of us might have come across these types of texts that, somewhere in images or somewhere in posters. In all those things, we might have come across this type of appearance wherein a different texture is brought into text. Okay. So today we are going to learn how to create something like that. Okay, so here can you see that? So this technique is what we are going to learn now. So now I am going back here. So as of now, I am done with it, and okay, let me try to. Okay, I'll just hide this as of now. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take the text tool. Okay, so here we have this thing called as type tool. Okay, so in Photoshop, for the text itself, we have different types of approaches. So here can you see that mark, which is like a drop down. So again, if you long press on it, you will be able to see different types of text type tool. Okay, which is one is horizontal type tool. Okay, which wherein you will be able to see the letters in a horizontal way. So then we have a vertical type tool. So here we will be able to see the text in a vertical way, and then after that we have something called as vertical type mask tool and horizontal type mask tool. So again, these two are also acting like text, but as of now, I'm not going to tell it and confuse you even more. Okay, so today we will see either this horizontal type tool or vertical type tool. Okay, so for a better approach towards the poster or towards a design that we create, I am going to take in the horizontal type tool. Okay, once I have picked it, I am just placing my cursor here on the artboard. Okay, so as soon as I place it, what happens is the font is bigger. Okay, can you see the font is 1,000 points in size. Okay, now I'm going to reduce the um, text font size a bit much. So now I'm going to make it to 200 points. Okay, and then once I have made it, I'm giving this stick icon, and then I'm going to give the move icon so that I can move the. Okay, so here the problem is the text has gone into the group that we created and it is deposited there. So we are not able to see the text which is here because we have hidden the layer that we operated previously. So now what I'm going to do is to bring it outside. I'm just going to drag it and drop it here in the layer. Okay, once I have done it, all right, still I am not able to see text here because I have not typed anything. So I have typed in a word. Okay, now I will select everything. Okay, so here when I look into this properties, okay, so the properties are for the characters that I have typed. So here when I see that the color is white, okay, so this is the reason why I was not able to see the text earlier too. Okay, so now I'm just going to click on it and then let me choose in some color. Okay, yeah, let it be this. So now, once we have chosen the color, we can just give this tick mark. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to um, make this text into a mask. Okay, so before we could go into the mask settings, okay, so here in this text we have to remember a few things. Okay, so please take a paper and pen and write whatever you have to remember. So as I have been telling you that Photoshop is more on layers and you have to observe these layers very carefully when you are trying to um, translate the position of the image that you are having here on the artboard or make any changes to your existing creation and all. Similarly, for the text as well, you have to concentrate a few different settings. Okay, so the first rule that you have to follow if you are planning to edit the existing text is you cannot just edit the text just by clicking on the layer. Okay, so you now let's see. All right, so now apart from this color, okay, so if I want to change the change the font style or do something, okay, or you know, you can also double click on the text, okay, and then the whole of the text gets selected. So once you select this, all right, so if you want to split different styles of text for different words of the existing thing, you can also handle the double click so that your text appear like this when you are displaying them. Okay, so this is one thing that you have to keep in mind. All right, and the second thing that you have to keep in mind is once you create a new text, okay, yeah, so once you create a new text, what will happen is you have to, in case if you want to scale it so much or do something like that. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll create a new text, okay, but with lesser lesser points. Okay, so I'll just keep in 10. Okay, I'll just change the points to 10. Okay, now can you see there is a kind of distortion that is there in the text? Okay, so can you see that? So, do you remember when we discussed about Photoshop? I told you that it is a software that works based on the pixels. Okay, so even the text will be handled here in pixels. Okay, so if you are trying to, if you are trying to expand it or contract it from the size that you created, it tends to pixelate. Okay, so when you are creating something, you have to keep that particular pixel, and then you have to create the text. Okay, if not, the text might look pixelated like this. Okay, so now here I'll just delete off this text. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I will change these text together to some other bolder type of appearance. Okay, I'm just choosing which text will suit it well. Okay, let me choose this Rockwell Extra Bold font. Okay, now let me decrease the font size to fit inside my artboard. Okay, then after I do this, let me place it here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, okay, after placing, I will give this tick mark. Okay, so once I have done it, now I'm going to bring in an image. Okay, so the image is going to act like the texture that you have here. Okay, now what we will do is we will try to find some good texture that we can. Okay, so which texture you girls want me to go by? So any suggestions, you can type in a word here in the chat box. So whichever texture that you want to see your text in. So what is the texture that could be? You can type in a word here in the chat so that we can go by that. Any suggestion, girls? No suggestion from you? Okay, so let me not try to put you in a turmoil. So I'll just choose some random texture, okay? Maybe I'll try to go by some wood texture. Okay, so here should we go by wood texture or some good vibrant thing? Ice cube texture. Okay, or fire texture. Okay, yes, we have got one amazing thing here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to merge this fire texture, mask this fire texture with our image, with our text. Okay, so this fire texture itself I am trying to get some good appearance. Okay. Mm, yeah, so I will just take it. Okay, yeah. So the lava texture is here. Now what we are going to do is going back to the Photoshop, opening where the image got saved. Now I'm just dragging it and dropping it here. Okay, and then this time I'm just fitting in the image throughout the text size. Okay, once I have done it, now what I'm going to do is again, as we followed this thing over here when we masked the photo. Okay, so like that, I am going to create a new group here. All right, and then I'm just going to rename it to text mask. Okay, so here, so as of now, what we will do is we'll change the text. Okay, we will type in RCWCC. Okay, and then here we will give it even more good text style. Okay, which looks even more bold and bright. Okay, so I'm just going through the textiles that are here, and I am trying to fix in one good bold and bright bright size or font for the text that we have here. Okay, so other languages have started to come. We do have Helvetica new here, but we don't have the bold Helvetica. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go back to the Franklin Heavy Gothic. Okay, I'll choose this Franklin Heavy Gothic, and then I will maybe increase the size of the text. Okay, and then I'm going to, yeah. So, how many of you are excited to see how the image will look like after we have masked it? If you are excited to see how the output will turn after we place in the texture, type in excited here in the live chat so that I can know that you guys are very excited to look forward for what is going to come, since it is a kind of personalization to all of you. You all feel so very personal and attached towards WCC, and your friends, maybe your subjects, maybe, or whatever it is, right? So you will have an emotional connect some or the other way towards the college, or some may not. But yeah, so how many of you are excited to see what is here? Type in excited. Yes. So Sneha has started. Superb, superb, amazing. Yes, keep it coming. Yeah. So now we have brought in the size of it, and now I'm going to click on select. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable the image, and again, now what we are going to do is we are going to uh, click on these two, image and also the texture. Okay, I mean image and also the text, and drop it into this text mask group that we created. Okay, so after creating that, I am going to click on this image which is over here, and then right click, and then I'm going to give this create clipping mask. Okay, so here, I mean, the kind of output that we were looking for, and that we were all excited about might not be very obvious here because of the enormous scale of the image that we did. Okay, actually, this image is crowded here in the center. Okay, so for that, what we have to do is whenever we are choosing an image, it is better that if you try to pick an image which is in similar kind of appearance to the text that you have. Okay, so here in that aspect I am trying to look into some landscape image where I can bring that kind of appearance, that kind of massive look for the text that we have put. So for that, since our text is landscape in orientation, so we have to also choose some other image which is also having the landscape orientation, so that we need not have to scale it and just retain the exact feeling of the image. Okay, so yeah, so let me just go through the kind of images that we have here, and once we have taken the exact image that we would want to have, we can just bring it to there, and then we can mask that image to our text. Okay, okay, let me try to download from some other site. So since I'm going to download this just for you to see, even with an image with a watermark can be used here, because we are not going to commercialize this image. I'm just trying to get the better appearance for the texture that we are searching for, because once you place a texture, what happens is you get to see, or you get to feel the text. Okay, because texture, we have read this point in the elements of design. Do you remember? So when we discussed about this elements of design, we discussed about this texture in particular, and when we discussed about this texture, we had a discussion that all the other elements which are present over here are somewhere or the other related to the visual form of the design. Okay, but the texture is the only thing that makes the user feel that particular visual, because in on a digital screen we cannot feel the uh, exact feeling behind the image. Okay, but the texture whichever you are using will make your user feel the image in in whatever perspective you have done it. Okay, so it is always better that you tend to pick in a good and fulfilling texture wherein your user can feel the exact image. Okay, so here again I'm trying to see some other good lava texture, so that we can feel that heat. Okay, yeah, so let me take this particular thing here. So it's the texture from free pick. Okay, it's a premium asset. I'm just going to give free here so that the free assets are shown. From this, let me take in a powerful image that is uh, closely looking like or giving us the feel of that exact heat. Okay, so here we have some images, but that exact feeling is not carried, I guess. Okay, so yeah, so I'll just try to download this texture, and I feel that our text also can be one more reason on why this is not giving us the exact impact of what we expected. Okay, so here in that case, what I am going to do is I will select the layer. Okay, and then let me try to change some better font. Yeah, okay. Now we are able to see the image, see the difference in the image than the previous one. Okay, so it depends both on the image that we are trying to bring in or the text that we can have. Okay, so here I am just, yeah. So now I am going to place this image on top like this. Okay. So now I will give a right click and create clipping mask. So as we fix in different types of images, the same text can be felt in different ways of approach. Okay, so now yeah, now what I will do is the same text I will try to fix it in different type of texture. Okay, so now what texture we can take up is here we can see for ice cube texture. Okay, so now we will take in some ice cube texture. Or yeah, so we will choose this one. Okay, now I'm going back to Photoshop. Okay, now what I will try to do is yeah, we will try to duplicate uh, um, the layer. Okay. Okay, so here I will try to click on this. Okay, yeah. So I'll try to duplicate the group. Okay, so here I will give it as cold text. Okay, a duplicate layer is created, but this time I might not. I mean, have to reposition the image. I mean, reposition the position of the text. Okay, so for that, what I'm doing is I'm just dragging it and dropping it here. Okay, so now I am going to delete off the textures that were there. Okay, now only the image, sorry, the text is alone here. Now we'll bring in the water texture that we downloaded. Okay, now I'm just scaling it here. Okay, and then right click, create clipping mask. Okay, so a different feel is created when we look at this one and this one. Okay, to make the to make the text look even more with depth and all that, by choosing the converted layer. Okay, what we are going to do is go here to the FX. Okay, and then you can choose in whichever option you want to bring in. Okay, now I will choose in the bevel. Okay, so now let me try to give it a depth. Okay, and okay, I can change in different kind of approaches that I want to have. Okay, so depending on whatever I'm looking to create in, so depending on that, we can change in the options. Okay, so I will now create one inner shadow. So here, like however our image might look like, so that setting we can see from here, from whatever appearance is here. Okay, so we can also change in the noise of the contour. All right. So similarly, you can also adjust its size. Okay. So depending on whatever setting you are giving your um, text or image, so depending on that, your text or image will react. Okay, by conveying you the feeling on what it is actually expected to be conveyed. Okay, so here what I will do is I will just click on this layer and then I will hit duplicate layer. Okay, so the previous thing that we did is now shown over here. Okay, so whatever setting we applied was for the image. Okay, can you see that? So now why this thing has happened was we selected the image, okay, but we should have selected the text, okay. So whenever, this is what I told you, whenever you are dealing with whenever you are dealing with Photoshop, it is always good that you tend to see what you are working on. Okay, so here what I'll do is I'll just try to turn off the effects. Okay, so now again I'll go here, then again I'll create clipping mask. Okay, now what I will do is I will do the same procedure of whatever I did here to the text. Okay, so now here I'm going to give this effects, and again bevel. Okay, now can you see the difference? Okay, so to make it visible, I'm just bringing it a bit towards the bottom. All right, and here I can adjust the type of bevel that I need to create, and whichever direction I want it to be created, so that direction I can handle. And yeah, so I can also handle with its contour. Okay, so if I want it to be in any particular shape, so I can give that shape over here. Okay, so can you see that as I change, it is also changing. So I'll just leave off with this contour. Okay, and then I will give color dodge, or I'll give hard light. Okay, so depending on the option that I choose here, the effect changes. Okay, so I can adjust between the quality and whichever angle I want it to be appearing, and that angle I can shift. Okay, so can you see as I move the angle here, you have to see the difference here. Okay, so you can choose between different types of bevel that you want to create. So depending on whatever you are choosing, so depending on that, your image will be enhanced. Okay, so these settings you will get to know once you start exploring the tool, and once you um, start knowing where you can give what and all that. Okay, now if I need to give an inner shadow, I can all as well do that. Okay, so here I'm not going to, sorry, yeah, so I did everything, and I just gave it cancel. So I'll just give emboss smooth. Okay, I'll adjust the size, and I'll hit soften, and I'm just adjusting the angle. Okay, and here I'm giving the contour. So I have given the glass contour. So that is why it is appearing as if it is in the glass. Okay, so as you keep your cursor on top of the uh, different styles of contour that you are able to see here. You will also be able to see what type of contour it is. Okay, so here it says Gaussian. So depending on whatever contour type you are choosing, so that exact effect will be applied to the text or image, whatever you handle with. Okay, now I am giving okay. So now can you see the difference between this and this? So the same way for this image as well, I mean for that text as well, you can bring in different types. Okay. Yeah, so you can bring in different types of depth for it. Okay, so now I will show something in similar. So again, I'm going to FX. Okay, so this time let me try to give inner glow. Okay, so here I'm going to give multiply, and I'm going to add in some noise. Okay, I have decreased the opacity level to 0. And if I want to bring in the inner glow in gradient colors, I can also do that. Or if I want it to be just solid, I can also do that. Okay. So inner glow will just enhance the appearance of the image. Okay. But the kind of depth that is created over here will be given by this bevel and emboss. Okay, so again, if you are giving it a texture, okay, so here again you can give it a kind of different texture that you want to handle. Okay, so here you can bring in the type of texture. So by default, few uh, textures are here. Okay, so now I'm planning to give it a grass texture to make it look a bit okay, all these are water textures, but I don't want one. So I'll just go back to the grass texture. Okay, and as I move, you will also be able to see the depth of the texture over here. Okay, and this bevel here, the color of the bevel, or okay, so if something is highlighted, so can you see that? You will be able to see shades of pink. Okay, so here I will try to move it to somewhere orange or red. Okay, and now what I will do is here again it says glass contour, but now I want this to appear somewhere very uh, rough and like that. Okay, so to bring that, right, so I am just trying to bring in the that kind of approach towards this image. Okay, so which one seems fine? No. Okay, I hope this one is good. And this time, what I'm going to do is the size of the bevel that I held previously. Okay, so that size I have just lessened it so that there is no stroke-like appearance for this texture over here. Okay, just the image alone, I mean, just the text alone seems to be a bit with depth. Okay, and yeah. So as I apply soften and harden, so here as I move it to a bit soft, it doesn't convey that much of effect. So here I will just apply soften. I mean zero soften. Okay, so that the image looks hard. After doing this, okay. I can also choose between the different types of bevel that I want to have. Okay, so now I kind of feel that if we try to bring that image, okay, instead of this, we try to bring this image, now it will be even more effective, I feel. Okay, so now I'll try to give multiply and yeah. The settings will be the same, it will not change because we have applied that setting to the image, I mean to the text, okay, and not the image. So because of that, whatever image we change, the text will remain the same. Okay. Yeah, so I'll just select this layer and make it a bit bigger. Maybe I'll try to change the font and make it okay. So I'll now select the layer, make it bigger, and I'll give OK. Now again I'll go here, I'll go to this FX. Okay, now I will check what can be done. Right, now here for this, I'll see what texture can be given. The same grass texture is here. Okay, yeah, so like this, you can bring in some good changes and appearance for the images that you create. Okay, that will give you an exact feeling that you are somewhere or the other. You tend to feel the visual whatever is here. Okay, so yes, so this is how you will mask different types of images into your text, whichever you are entering. Okay, so now what we are going to see is we are going to learn how to export a work that we have done. Okay, so yesterday we created this image, but we did not see how we can export it and use it as a photo, okay, as a JPEG image. So for that, what we are going to do is we have to go to File. All right, so in File, we have an option which is called as export. If in case you are trying to export this image without the background, okay, so you have to give this as a quick export as PNG. Okay, I will just save this in desktop. I'll give it test and save. Now I'll go here, go to the desktop and open the PNG. Okay, so still it comes with the background here. Now what I am going to do is I'll go to file again, okay, export, and I will go to this export as. Okay, so here you have three different file formats: PNG, JPEG, and GIF. Okay, you can choose whichever file format you want the image to be exported, and then you can choose the quality of the image to be exported. Okay, so it is always better that if you keep the preference in good and export. Okay, and other than that, you needn't have to change any of the settings so much. Okay, and here in the bottom sometimes this tab might overlap the one that I mean, like this how you are seeing right now. Okay, so in that aspect you can just make this uh, tab a bit shorter, and then you get to see the buttons which are here. Okay, so here you will have an option called as export, and once you give export, it will ask you the directory where it has to save the image, and you have to give the saving preferences, like what name you want to save it as and all that. So after you do this, you can okay, again I'll save it here in desktop, test one, and save. Okay, now if I go to desktop and see, I'll be able to see that image as a JPEG image. Okay, so like this you can export anything that you have created. Now we have created these images, or I mean this text over here, which are masked with different textures. Okay, so to download this as a photo. Okay, so what we are going to do is, again, file, export. Okay, this time we'll go to the export preferences. Okay, so in export preferences, here you will have a quick export format. Okay, so it says PNG, JPEG, and GIF, and the transparency box is selected, and then it's a smaller file. Okay, so one setting we will export it with this transparency box turned on, and the other setting without it being turned on. Okay, now I will turn it off, and then I'll give OK. Okay, or yeah, so I'll give OK. And now I'll go here, export, and export as. Okay, and now I'm exporting it. This text or something. Okay, so our texts are exported as images. Okay, yeah, so now next to this, I mean, this is how you will export something into a JPEG image from your export settings. Okay, so as I tell this, we also have to take a look at the export settings in Illustrator as well. Okay, so here I'm just opening Illustrator. So I'll show you the export settings there in Illustrator, because the files, whatever I have received so far, few of you gave it as gave it as a screenshot, or some of you gave it as the AI file itself. Okay, so to avoid that, I'll just open this file which we were working on. Okay, so now just that I want to export this particular face alone. Okay, so here in this project I do have different types of things that we recreated, but out of all that, imagine I just want to export this particular asset. Okay, so here what I can do is I can just drag and select that asset which I want to download. Okay, then go to file, export, and then export as, or I can go to this export selection. Okay, so here in export selection it will show me two different tabs here. one is assets and one is artboards. Okay, so always when you want to export something as a artboard, okay, imagine you are creating a poster and the poster's size is 1080 cross 1080, which is a square size. Okay, so in that aspect you will have to export the complete 1080 cross 1080 as an image. Okay, so in that thing, what you can do is, you have to switch to the artboards. Okay, which means that that entire artboard will be exported. Can you see it here? So that entire artboard will be uh, exported. Okay, so now we are trying to export only this face. Okay, so in that case I have to choose assets. Okay, so after I choose this assets, here I can choose which directory I'm going to save. Okay, so here as of now, let me save it in desktop. Alright, so after I do that, I'm selecting the folder and then I can choose if I want to export it as PNG or JPEG. Okay, so and now I will try to export it as a PNG, that is without the background. Okay, and then after I choose the respective settings, here I am giving this button export asset. So once it is exported, you will be able to see a folder in the name of 1x. Okay, so that is where your file is saved. Okay, because some of you, when you are starting off, you will have a confusion in this. So when you are after exporting, you will be searching for the image, but the image will not be seen here. So please don't get confused if you're not able to see the image here. Wherever you are able to see this folder which says 1x, okay, so that is where your asset is saved. Okay, now I'll just double click and open. So this image, since I exported it without the background as a PNG, so it seems like this. Okay, now the very same image, I will go here again, go to the file, export selection, then asset. Okay, and this time I will give it as JPEG. Okay, so this -100 is nothing. You can just hit on backspace. You can just delete that -100 and then you can give export asset. So once you have done it, again you will have, the image will be stored in the very same 1x folder. So if you double click on it, now this asset 2 is the asset that we exported now. So if I double click on it, the asset will be displayed here as JPEG. Okay. So this is how you can export an asset from your Illustrator. Okay, you can also, okay, now we will see how to export an entire artboard in Illustrator. Okay, now what I will do is, I'll just move all these things out of this artboard. So I'll just scale this asset to fit in the complete artboard. Okay, so now are you able to see this border which is black in color? So this is the artboard's mark. Okay, so whichever comes inside this black border, so those things will be exported. Okay, now I will go to this file and then again I'm going to this export selection. So here, this time I am not going to choose this assets. I am going to switch to artboard. So if you take a closer look into this artboard, here you will be able to see the entire image which is scaled into inside that particular artboard. Okay. So here you can rename the file, right? So here let me give it as Mario Lion or something. Okay, so this is what the file name is, whichever you want your file to have. Okay, so this is the file's name. And after renaming it, okay, so whichever as artboard you don't want to be exported, you can just click on that check box. Okay, so that artboard will not be exported. So previously both the artboards were ticked. Okay, so that whichever artboard is selected, so those artboards will be exported. So here I don't want this artboard to be exported. I'm just exporting this one artboard alone. So here I have removed the checkbox, and this alone I am just leaving it there. And let me change it to JPEG image. Okay, and now I am exporting the artboard. Again, it is stored in 1x. So now when I open it, can you see it? Our Illustrator file is now changed into an image. Okay, so this is how you will export images from Illustrator as well as Photoshop. Okay. Yes, so as planned, I finished my part of the lectures at 8:30. So I want you guys to come up with the questions that you had while you were practicing here in Illustrator. Okay, and also I hope some of you might have tried to do something in Photoshop, but I don't know if the link is, if the download link is given to you. So if the download link for this Photoshop software is not given to you, you will receive it tonight. Okay. So having said this, the next thing what I want you guys to do is, since many of you have already submitted the task one for the Illustrator tool. Okay, so I want you all to create a design using Photoshop. Okay, so I want you all to create a poster using Photoshop. So I will show you the reference image that you want to create something like. Okay, so this is a poster. Okay, so you have to create um a poster like this. Okay, the poster size can be anything. It can be in portrait or landscape or square shape that you can post in social media and all that. Okay, so the poster's size can be anything. It needn't has to necessarily be this size. Okay, the poster size can be anything, and the content whichever you are going to show inside the poster can also be anything. And as you are able to see the different kind of effects shown here, you try masking your own picture, or any other, mostly your own picture, whatever you guys have, and bring it as a poster. Okay, not just stopping with masking the picture. So whichever thing you are interested towards, or whichever activities will display the quality about you or who you are. Okay, so for some ideas, okay, you can just come up with different ideas to create a poster about you. Okay, which has your image masked in it. Okay, so this is the task that I am giving you for Photoshop. Okay, so hope I will be receiving the same set of good number of assignments as we have been receiving for this Illustrator tool. Okay, Yes, so having said this, you will also get this reference poster in WhatsApp. Okay, so again, I'm repeating, you should not recreate the same poster. You have to create a poster for yourself, okay, showcasing you or your talent or your skill or something that you are interested about or something like that, with your image masked in it. Okay, so this is the task that you have been given with. So the deadline of for this task will also be announced in WhatsApp message. Okay, having said this, now the live session is open for you guys to come up with different questions or doubts that you have been having for the past 4 or 5 days together. Yes, you can start typing in the questions in a word or in a sentence here in the live chat so that I can answer the same to you guys. Yes, you can just take this session as a doubt clarification session, or take this as session that I am assisting you or something. Some challenge that you faced while you were creating the posters. Okay, so as you start typing in your queries or your doubts, your attendance link will be up in some time. Okay, so please stay for that. And also with that notice, I also want to tell you guys here that your user interface and user experience design will be starting, course will be starting coming Tuesday. Okay, so that notification also will be received in WhatsApp as you always receive. Okay, so that UI UX session is also going to be eventually interesting, like how you started with this graphic design. Okay, so do we have to install the Photoshop software, or we can use the Illustrator itself, ma'am? It's better you install your Photoshop if you are having that kind of systems capability, because Photoshop is different and Illustrator is different. So both these softwares have different functionalities. Okay, so over there in Illustrator you can create good vectors and all that. Okay, but the kind of textures or things that are I mean, both are eventually good, but both have their own uniqueness. All right, so if you have the laptop's capability or computer's capability to have both the softwares installed, then I would please recommend you to create this poster using Photoshop. Hashni, I hope I answered your question. Yes, any other doubt or questions regarding the software or any other tools and techniques that we have dealt? Yes, other than this, you guys have any other query that can be addressed? Okay, where should we give our attendance, ma'am? Yes, you will receive your attendance link for today, Mithula. Okay, so you can post in that. If there is no other query or no other doubts from your end, please notify me that no doubt. I mean, typing in the live chat as no doubt or no query or all clear or something like this, so that I can post you the attendance link. If you guys let us know that you don't have any query or anything, we can post you the attendance link. So to notify us with the same, type in the live chat as uh, all clear or no query, no doubt, something like this, so that I can ask my team to post the attendance link. Okay, thank you, Kritika. Thank you, Kanishka. Superb. Okay, fine. All right. So, proceeding with this, you will also be receiving a feedback form or a feedback link wherein you can please register the feedback that you guys have towards the 5 days classes, and your output or at the end of this graphic designing to UI UX course, however you felt. So you can please give that in feedback. And having said that, here we also have our attendance link. So once you have given your attendance, you can please end up. And Mithula hasn't received any message to submit the assignment, it seems. So, guys, please note it. Mithula, please contact the very same number from where you are receiving your WhatsApp messages, okay? So that our team can assist you. And having said this, please also subscribe to the channel from which you are attending the live sessions from, because even though you have registered, if you have not subscribed to the channel, you will not be able to see the recordings. Okay. So please do subscribe the channel so that you can have a track on the recording of all the sessions that you had till date and also the upcoming sessions that you will have. And also please save the contact number from which you are receiving the messages from. Okay, so that you will be notified with the different inputs that we give to you in the duration of these courses. Mithula, a message has been sent to you, your number. So please take a look at it, save the contact so that you don't miss uh, future notifications or information from us. Also, please make please subscribe the channel so that you don't miss anything that comes from us. Yes, thank you so much for participating, guys, and let's meet in the succeeding week with a new whole course of user interface and user experience design, wherein you will also enjoy the same kind of the experience you had in this first week of course, skill development course, which is organized by Rotary Club of Madras Metro and supported and presented by Tech-iera Innovations Private Limited. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and have a great week ahead. And yeah, bye. Take care.